Brian Chambliss on the win. We're just going to quickly go have a look at what happened to Hernandez here at the very end. Ooh. Alright, that's a little bit of he said, she said there. We won't worry too much about that one though. Because here is Brian Chambliss. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style. These guys are fighting pretty close right now. 17 of Christian Budd managing to hold on. And now they're going to have to deal with the 38 of Thomas Harmon, who's going to make it 3 wide on the inside. They've gotten the 17 of Christian Budd clear. And now Thomas fighting for the lead, giving a little bit of a bump there to Gerald West. Gerald rolling with the punches. They're going 3 wide again, coming off of turn 4. This can be a little bit of a sticky situation, especially if you're the car in the middle. Gotta make sure you give enough space to both the cars around you. And this is absolutely incredible that these guys are still 3 wide. Oh, and Thomas Harmon has gotten loose. Can he save it? He can. Well done, Thomas Harmon. Hello everyone and welcome to the Talladega Super Speedway for the MS Awareness 70. Right, we're supporting multiple sclerosis here this week as we've got cars on the track. They just started a pit party without us here. And you can see a lot of furious pushing going on. This is probably the most grouped up we will see them throughout this race because the drivers tend to be a little bit crazier in practice. And then when it comes to racing here at Talladega, they usually single file out a little bit. You see a little bit of three-wide action going on. I saw Steinhauser out on the apron just then. And they're all catching up to Corey Cookie. We'll just call him Corey Cook. At the front of this one, I think there's the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, but I'm not completely sure. And I've even got a brand new button to play with on this one. But you'll find out about that button during the race. Oh, as there's contact. And around goes Steinhauser and Frank Isaacson. Oh, and there's more crashing. The TJ Crampton's in it. Sam Niederholm. I think I saw Travis Massio backwards as well. It's all hitting off here in practice. Still a fairly big group out the front there. By fairly big, I mean there's more than 2 cars in it. There's Hernandez, Matt Burgess, got a 38, Thomas Harmon, John Rozelle coming in for a pit entry. Same too for Brandon Bennett. It's just these four. Mark Pentecup and Corey Cook are still on the track as well. The 66er Sam Niederholm practicing a pit entry. When we come to Talladega, there's no point in practicing all by yourself. So the only practice that's really worth it is the pit party practice, where you just constantly go out and do pit parties. And I think that's what we're about to see here, as Thomas Harmon peels off to practice a pit entry. Those guys are fighting tooth and nail for a win here in the pit party they started. Matt Burgess got shafted, will come third. And I don't know out of Brian Harris and Jonathan Hernandez who actually won that one. And the answer to that was probably Mark Pentecuff. As we're just waiting for some action here on the pit road. Oh, Thomas Harmon going sideways. That's not how you exit your pit. Looks like we're starting to roll. There's Steinhauser in a 65, the 6 of Robert DeVore. Got Corey Cook just behind. Adam Bowder's in there. John Lozelle in the 23. See how they all get lined up here. And it looks like we're going to have Steinhauser on the pole for this one. Corey Cook right in behind him. Comes Frank Isaacson. Looks like he's going to take the outside pole. Corey Cook pulls off. He doesn't want to be up there. In fact, he's resetting. Mark Pentecuff's going to take up the outside of Adam Bowden. We've got Sam Niederholm in there. I can see the 6 of Robert DeVore. 12 of Matt Burgess, the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. So let's get this pit party underway. Although it will still take a little bit, because they've got to get from here to the other side of the tri-oval, because the start-finish line is not in the middle of the tri-oval, like it is tradition with most NASCAR tracks. That's the Geico restart zone there, and they're off and racing. Pretty even start for our front runners, Steinhauser and Isaacson. And most of the pack is still pretty chill. A little bit of sideways movement there for Steinhauser as he was getting bump drafted down the back straight. And Frank Isaacson's going to take up the lead. They're 4 wide. And Hernandez and Matt Burgess were stuck in the middle there. Still stuck in the middle. And now they're going to get nose to tail because they're sick of being 4 wide. Someone got into the fence. And around goes Mark Petikoff. And wow, the death. The multitude of death in that crash. That is just about the entire field. Not even sure who's still circulating the track. Oh, we've got 3 white cars. Mark Petikoff, we've got TJ Cranton and Corey Steinhauser. Oh, and Steinhauser and Cranton have gotten together. So Mark is the lone survivor with the eye of the tiger. So we'll probably get ready for another pit party here. As Frank Isaacson and Brian Pizzicemi finally make their way back to the pits. And Mark is going to pin himself before the pit lane. See some movement. Steinhauser just creeping his way out the wrong way in the pit lane. There's Matt Burgess, he's going. Oh, there's a parking lot at the end of pit lane. Adam Bowden in the 83 car. See the 5 of Mark Petikoff there as well. And around goes Adam Bowden. Too much gas. This is one of the tracks where the engines actually sound the quietest on the broadcast, because we use special noise suppressing microphones. Everyone gets onto the back straight and no one wants to be leading the pack. Like Jonathan Hernandez and Corey Cook are going to take up the mantle. There's TJ Crampton. He's going outside lane with Jonathan. Adam Bowden's up there as well. Not a very big pack right now. Alright, here we go. Now we've got everyone there. It's going to be Corey Cook, Jonathan Hernandez, Mark Pentecoff, TJ Crampton. We've got Matt Burgess and Adam Bowden. That's your top 6. And we're going to go 3 wide for the start. Indianapolis start it is. And here we go. Everyone cleanly through turns 1 and 2. There's no remnants of the 3 wide start. Everyone's kind of double filed out. Oh. Down to the infield goes Thomas Harmon and Corey Steinhauser. Everyone keeping it clean for the moment. Make our way onto the back straight. Oh, Adam Bowden. He stepped up out of the groove a little bit, and we have a melee. Corey Cook's in it. Brandon Bennett's in it. They look like they're the only ones who didn't make it through that. Oh. Around goes Brian Harris and Brian Pizzacami. 2 Brian's with a Y. At the front of this pack is Matt Burgess and Jonathan Hernandez, TJ Crampton, Mark Pentecoff, and Frank Isaacson. Got John Lozelle, who's a fair bit off this pack, and Corey Steinhauser, who's a little bit further still. These guys going 2 by 2 and back to single file. Oh, a little bit pushy shovey. TJ Crampton a little bit of all over the place. just about 9 minutes left in practice. Time really flies when it looks like they're having fun. Oh, that was into the fence for the 88 of Fernandez. Not sure whether he was pushed up there or whether he just got into it intentionally. This guy's bailing out pretty hard. There's about 9 or 10 laps left in practice here. Oh, it's dead right. Someone went. Not sure who it was that caused that, but damn, that was an impact. Oh, TJ Crampton got absolutely smashed by Steinhauser. Steinhauser able to keep going though, which is a big surprise considering that impact. Like Chris Champeau and Sam Niederhelm, the only two left on track. And they're both coming into the pits. And looks like there's time for one more pit party for all the drivers. And from what I'm hearing, this is going to be a pit lane pit party. So what that means is every lap they go around, they're going to go through the pit lane at high speed. Because that's not dangerous at all. All right, here we go. They're all lined up. And they're racing. TJ Crampton leading the way. Jonathan Hernandez up in there as well. Couple of cars flirting with below the yellow line there. Alright, here we go. This is where they're going to make their hard left turn and go down pit lane. Had to get a different camera angle so we can see them going down pit lane. So far, everyone has survived. There's very quiet camera angles, I don't like that. Oh, there's contact. And they survived. That's the 2 of Chris Champeau. 65 Corey Steinhauser. Oh, there's a crash. People getting shoved out into the dirt. I think everyone's dead. Or at least most people are dead. They've got just a few survivors. Niederhelm and Hernandez have been caught up. Burgess and Pizzakemi still going around, and Steinhauser. Frank Isaacson on the back straight. There is Matt Burgess, Brian Pizzakemi. 2 seconds behind him is Steinhauser, but he's got no drafting help, so he's not going to be able to catch them at all. And we'll also see here whether they're still doing the pit lane thing, as we only have a minute left. And they are still doing the pit lane thing. Oh, and there's death. Steinhauser and Cox. But with that, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll see the results of qualifying, so make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the MS Awareness 70 coming up very shortly. Hello everyone and welcome back to the MS Awareness 70. Qualifying has been complete and it is time for us to see how our driver stacked up on the pole. He's not on track yet, but he is on the pole. It's going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, qualifying time of a 53.5. Out of P2 will be the 61 car of TJ Crampton. P3 will be the 12 of Matt Burgess, with P4 the 102 of Corey Cook. P5 will be the 33 of Matt Horton, with P6 the 23 of John Lazelle. P7 will be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P8 the 83 of Adam Bowden. P9 will be the 24 of Frank Isaacson. P10 the 39 of James Watson. And then we're going to have Brian Harris, Chris Champeau, Brian Chambliss, Sam Niederhelm, Travis Massier, Corey Steinhauser, Brian Pizzakemi, Brandon Bennett, Paul Cox, Mark Pentercuff, and Robert DeVore, wrapping up your 21 car field. Strength of field for this race will be a 26.17 and 70 laps around this man-made hell known as the Talladega Super Speedway. If we get no cautions at all, this race should take just under an hour. The lights are already out on the pace car. So this time I remind you, all starts, well, the first start is on green. All the restarts will be on the leader in the restart zone. Yeah, everyone just getting ready. They're not allowed to move out of line before they reach the start finish line when the green flag drops. And after that, all hell can break loose. They can go 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide if that tickles their fancy. See Robert DeVore there at the back, warming up his tyres, getting ready for the start. Because we do have the potential for this to go green the whole way. We also have the potential for this to become a cluster in turn 1. Alright, here we go. The combatants are ready. And in the case that we do get a caution, we will have shortened pace laps, which means we only get a couple of pace laps instead of 5 or 6. The pace car makes his way into the pit lane. Jonathan Hernandez will lead the field. And here we go, we're green. Jonathan Hernandez leading the way on the inside line. TJ Crampton on his outside. There's a little bit of overcast weather here for Talladega. It's partially cloudy, casting a shadow across the whole track. A little bit of sunlight there in 3. Doesn't look like much has changed just yet. Still Hernandez on the inside, Crampton on the outside, Corey Cook on the outside pushing 61 and TJ Crampton along, and now he's going to the outside trying to make it 3 wide. And the only thing he accomplished there was going 3 wide down and falling down the order. So he's going to start dropping to the back there. Adam Bowden up there as well. What's that done is that had no help for TJ Crampton, so he's dropped into line. He's now 3rd in line on the inside. Couple of cars flirting with that apron. On the outside line there, got Matt Horton and Thomas Harmon. They're trying to make something work. Last year we saw these cars just be single file the whole time. There was no way of attempting to pass because as soon as you stepped out, it was game over. Just look at the different lines everyone's taking. It just looks like that outside line just doesn't quite have enough momentum to really have an effect. Got one car right out onto the apron. Not sure who that is. But they very quickly dropped to the back. That might have been the 21, Brian Chambliss. Still, Jonathan Hernandez leading from Matt Burgess, TJ Crackner and John Lozelle in fourth. Fifth place being taken up by Frank Isaacson. There's a little bit of a line going on the outside line there. Truck is about 5 cars deep, being led by the 2 of Chris Champeau. Corey Cook in the second position in that outside lane. Thomas Harmon, now it's 6 cars strong on that outside lane. And we have a chasing pack of 5 cars. This guy is trying to make it a little bit more interesting. Look at how hard they're pushing. Here comes that outside line. That pack out the back's being led by Travis Massier. So we've got our top 16 in this front pack. And then 17th down to 21st in that backpack. As Chris Champeau has now taken the lead. We've got the 38 Thomas Harmon now trying to make a move with the 33 Matt Horton on his tail. We've got the 88 Jonathan Hernandez up there as well. The outside line, not as bad as it seemed earlier. Oh, and now down to the inside goes the 33 Matt Horton. Leaving Thomas Harmon to the outside with Jonathan Hernandez. Looks like Jonathan gave up that second in line position. Thomas Harmon has taken the lead on the lower line. Got the 8. That's Brian Harris up there. He's looking all right at the moment. Just incredible watching these cars fly around a track like they do. But the second pack just struggling to try and close this gap a little bit. I'm sure they didn't want to be that far back off this pack. They probably wanted to stay in draft range. Just didn't quite work out for them. I reckon we're gonna just take a couple laps here to appreciate the sounds of these things as we go and crank it up. We saw there very briefly the 88 Jonathan Hernandez just getting into the fence ever so slightly. He's dropped back to the 10th position now. So, yeah, no good things there for Jonathan Hernandez. As that might actually help him a little bit here. These cars, after a few laps, get a little bit loose. So that might help tighten up his car for a longer run. As I'm just looking at the gap between the front pack and the back pack here. In fact, let's just go to the backpack and we'll show you guys the visual gap. Here it is, Robert DeVore leading the way on this pack. With a gap of 5.3 seconds in these guys and the group ahead. There's Robert DeVore, Adam Bowden, Brian Chambliss. Sorry, Robert DeVore, Paul Cox, Brian Pizzicami, Travis Massia, Bruce Steinhauser on the very back of it. That's not going to be very good for those guys trying to close up that kind of a gap. Back up to the front we go. There's Jonathan Hernandez. He's back in 8th now. But Thomas Harmon leading the way. As soon as Thomas Harmon locked onto the front of that lower line, he just has not been looking back at all. What was a little bit squirrely there was the 8, Brian Harris. Let's see what this outside line can do. They're slowly working their way up. Like Frank Isaacson's getting a little bit squirrely there. Second in line on the outside. Looks like they've almost broken into 4th. They've taken over 5th from John Lazelle. Matt Horton at the helm. And I'm a little bit surprised that they're not side drafting as much. There's a 12 of Matt Burgess now. He was side drafting off the 2 of Chris Champeau. He wants to take over 2nd. He's going to get there. There's a little bit of stack up in that lower lane too, as that gap got filled. Matt Burgess unofficially has his nose ahead. And now it's the Matt and Matt show at the front of the pack. Matt Burgess and Matt Horton take over 1st and 2nd respectively. Matt Horton ditched Matt Burgess, went to the outside line trying to make something work. And he's being ditched by the entire outside line. They're going 3 wide to go around him. Frank Isaacson said, nah, we already got you up there once. If you want to leave it, then we're going to leave you in the back. But what that has done is that has completely stunted the momentum of that outside line. I think what we're going to do right now, while the action seems to be pretty calm, is we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more action here from the MS Awareness 70 coming up very shortly. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back here at the Talladega Super Speedway in Alabama. And not much has changed at the front of this pack while we're away at break. Still the 12 of Matt Burgess leading the way. And the 38 of Thomas Harmon right there on his hammer and P2 on the inside line. Frank Isaacson still trying to make that outside line work. He's got Corey Cook in behind him now, and the 33 of Matt Horton. Let's see what they can do to try and make that work. All to Chris Champeau there. He's getting very close to that yellow line as look at the gap our front two have over Chris Champeau right now. How do you get a gap like that around here where the cars are so close? Unfathomable. Now we're just waiting to see what's going to happen and what should be about 12 laps time when we start getting green flag pit stops. See how it affects the group as a whole. Because we don't know much, but what we do know is as soon as pit stops happen, people are going to be getting speeding penalties, stuff like that, and it's going to change the entire effect of the race. Also, we had a couple of people who have dropped off of this pack. This pack is now 14 cars strong, with Mark Pentecoff being the car in 14th. Looks like Corey Cook and Frank Isaacson getting a little bit squirrely there. Unable to maintain that outside line as Jonathan Hernandez now moves up and into it. And he moves back down into the inside lane once he realized the help wasn't coming as fast as he wanted it to. 5 cars in that outside lane. The problem is they're all kinds of spread out. They really need to be nose to tail 5 deep for that outside lane to work. It looks like the best they can do right now is 2. And they're not even on each other. Frank Isaacson's has been trying to make that outside line work for pretty much the entirety of the race. Looks like they're a little bit more organised on that outside lane now. Starting to make their way back through the field once more. They've almost taken 4th away from TJ Crampton. It's still Matt Burgess and Thomas Harmon leading the way on the inside line. Now we are about 7 laps away from the possibility of green flag pit stops. Let's open up the radio here, see if we can hear what these drivers are talking about.
Let me know, I'll let you ride.
As if we get any radio chatter. And that outside line has pretty much all but dissolved. There's Corey Cook out there, and now he even falls to the inside line. And for the first time the entire race, we have a line of 14 cars and they're all in a single line. And that's not to say that this has become any less dangerous of a pack now, because of where you're able to push. You can definitely push the pusher in these cars. You can still see some disaster happen throughout the field, as on the outside line now, with Jonathan Hernandez and the 33 of Matt Horton. We even have a 3 wide moment there as the 2 of Chris Champeau jumped onto the outside lane. Didn't have the momentum that Jonathan Hernandez had, so they went around him. We now once more have 5 cars in that outside lane. And you just saw there ever so slightly the 12 of Matt Burgess, the 38 Thomas Harmon, showing their intent to block if it came to it. We do still have the radio open in case any of these drivers start talking. You saw the ferocious bump there from Matt Horton onto the back of Jonathan Hernandez.
Robbie, how's your fuel looking?
There we go, some questions being asked about fuel now.
Okay.
And it looked like in the corner it was just a little bit too sketchy to try and block that run from the outside lane. But Jonathan Hernandez now takes over the lead.
Got 5.5 laps left. Alright, you tell us when you want to pit and we'll pit with you. Copy.
So that is the second pack. You heard there was Robbie Duvall and Corey Steinhauser having a chat. As we now close the radio. The current order is Matt Horton, Jonathan Hernandez, Chris Champeau, Matt Burgess. Actually, it was Chris Champeau, Matt Burgess, Chris Champeau. The outside line drifted back. So it's Matt, Jonathan, Matt Thomas. Two Matts and two names that could easily be shortened. We've got no takers this time. 2 laps away from reaching the halfway mark. Let's just see how far back this second pack is now. They've been trying hard to try and catch up. They're 10 seconds off. So 5 seconds further back than the last time we checked in on them. It's Robbie DeVore, Brian Pizzakemi, Corey Steinhauser, Paul Cox, and Sam Niederhelm in this little group. As we go back up to the front of the field. Champo is still trying to get that outside line to work. He's got help from Brian Chambliss and Brian Pizzakemi. Not Pizzakemi, Brian Harris. 3 Brians and 3 Corys in the league. I remember when we had that same problem with Brandon's. And saying that, one of the Corys is actually not here. That's Corey Williamson this week. Not here. League owner and operator Jones Sanchez not here. Kyle Krass isn't here either. A couple of notable absentees. As we are in the halfway point. 35 down, 35 to go. So it's more like 35 and a half down, 34 and a half to go now. And we've had one car come to the pits, and that's the 83 of Adam Bowden. He is in dead last. And we've got a group of cars pitting now. Did a 102, Corey Cook. I think the 5 of Mark Pentecoff attempted to come to the pits, and he's missed it. And he spun. What's happened here, Mark Pentecoff? How did he not make it to the pit lane? It comes in as per normal, just too much speed into the grass. It comes back out towards the track. And just spins it under gas. Now that entire second pack is pitting as well. That's Robert DeVore, Brian Pizzakemi, Corey Steinhauser, Paul Cox, and Sam Niederhelm. They're all in the pits. Let's see who from this front pack is going to pit now. Travis Master has come into the pits. And everyone's in. Bit of a lock-up there. Couple of lock-ups. I guess all Matt Burgess have a lock-up. And TJ Crampton was one. TJ Crampton has taken a little tour in the grass. And he might be very lucky to not get a penalty in that. So Matt Burgess also just back up there ever so slightly. Here's the second pack as they come back out onto the track. Pizzakemi, Steinhauser, and Niederhelm all nicely lined up. Looks like they've dropped Paul Cox and Robert DeVore though. As the front pack now starts coming back out onto the track. They're being led by Jonathan Hernandez, who has a little bit of an air gap over the rest of this front pack, and that's going to be to his detriment. Because he's definitely not going to be going as fast as these guys once they get up to speed. Let's see who has to pit for penalties. And the 24, Frank Isaacson, is in for a penalty. He was officially the first car back out from the pit lane in that second pack. Oh, I guess the second pack to pit. But now we have a top 4 as Mark Penskoff just about came out on track in front of him. Thomas Harmon, Matt Horton, Jonathan Hernandez and Matt Burgess. 4-car pack, and they're all nicely packed in together. 5-car pack here is Chris Champeau, Brian Chambliss, Corey Cook, TJ Crampton, James Watson. Let's go have a squeeze at what was the second pack. There's Steinhauser and Pizzicami. They're definitely pushing hard there. Got the 66 Sam Niederhelm with them. And these guys currently 12th, 13th and 14th. So they've gained a little bit of positions as some disaster has befallen a few drivers. Being the one of Brandon Bennett, the 24 Frank Isaacson, who were up in front of these guys and now very far back there, down at 19th and 20th. And Mark Penskoff, who is at the moment the only car 1 lap down. I don't think that'll last too long, as Frank Isaacson is pretty close to going a lap down. Oh, and there's contact. Steinhauser and Pizzicami have made contact with each other. Steinhauser stopped sideways on the track. And how is that not a caution? I mean, there's no one there now, but there was definitely still cars coming when the contact was made. But Steinhauser doesn't really have too much damage there, maybe a little bit. And Pizzicami, once we get a better look, I think Pizzicami has some major damage on the 78 car. Oh yeah, broken toe link on that right front. And those two were doing so well as well. As I said, they were 12th, 13th and 14th with Sam Niederhelm. It looks like Pizzicami and Steinhauser are going to finish 16th and 17th. We're back up to our leaders now. They have put Frank Isaacson a lap down. They're about to put Adam Bowden a lap down. There you go. That is now done. Leader 33, Matt Horton there on the tail of this pack. And it looks like 61 TJ Crampton coming back into the pits. Not sure what has befallen him. But that is another one who is going to have their chances dashed in this race. I'm just still shocked that the caution did not come out for that incident between Pizzicami and Steinhauser. As we now see the second pack. Chris Champeau, Brian Chambliss, Corey Cook, James Watson. As now they are getting around to 24, Frank Isaacson. And looks like these guys starting to pick up some lap cars on the back of their pack to help bolster their speed a little bit. So I think Adam Bowden might get dropped off here. Just didn't quite have the pace to mix it up with these guys. As this second pack's looking pretty competitive, honestly. They might have a chance to run the leaders down, especially if they catch lap traffic in good places. One thing that could actually really help them is lap traffic stays low so they can catch the draft. And then the lap traffic goes high, just as they're about half a second off. Maybe even 0.3 of a second off. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case for them though. As there's Corey Steinhauser in 16th, he's about to go a lap down. Well, actually, he is a lap down. He's about to go a lap down to the second pack. Steinhauser will have a little bit of aero damage from that skirmish that he had with Brian Pizzicami. Looks like Pizzicami's taking his car to the pits. We're just 24 laps until the end of this race now. Corey Cook getting a little bit antsy there, third in line. Maybe he wants to try and get this outside lane to work a little bit. Either that or he's just getting some air on his grill, which is also very possible. It's a great thing that we paid for insurance on the non-corporeal Invisi camera there. So I swear one of these days it's going to go flying. There's TJ Crampton, who's just been absorbed by this second pack, who is a lap down. Apparently only has 13 cars left on the lead lap. We have one Thomas Harmon leading away from Jonathan Hernandez. We've got 12 of Matt Burgess, 33 of Matt Horton. And it doesn't seem no matter what track it is, these guys are generally towards the front. Thomas, Jonathan, Matt, and Matt. Even if one of them has a bit of a terrible qualifying, like in the case of Thomas Harmon for this race, qualified in 7th. He finds his way leading the field here at Talladega. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will be going to the checkered flag. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the MS Awareness 70 coming up here on the USM Commentator channel very shortly. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the MS Awareness 70 right here from the Talladega Super Speedway. Big group of cars going underneath the camera angle here. The race is still being led by the 38 Thomas Harmon. P2 still Jonathan Hernandez. P3 Matt Burgess. P4 is Matt Horton, and these guys have a huge lead over the pack behind them to the tune of about 12 seconds. All the way back to the 2 of Chris Champeau. This little pack here consists of Chris Champeau, James Watson, the lap down TJ Crampton, got Brian Chambliss, the 13 of Travis Mascio, who's a lap down, 24 Frank Isaacson, who's a lap down, and on the very back of it, the 102.61 of Corey Cook. And he is currently P8. If we go back another 23.5 seconds, we'll find the 23 of John Lozelle. And you'll find the rest of the cars that are still circulating on the track. So it's John Lozelle here, got Mark Petzkoff, who's a lap down, Robert DeVore on the lead lap, Corey Steinhauser, who's a lap down. Behind Steinhauser is Brian Harris on the lead lap. Got Sam Niederhelm on the lead lap. Paul Cox on the lead lap. Adam Bowden a lap down. We also had a retirement from Brandon Bennett. He thought he had smoke coming out of the tailpipes, and he pulled it into the pits just to be sure. So with that, we have currently 13 on the lead lap. We have 6 cars, 1 lap down. And we currently have DNFs from Brandon Bennett and Brian Pezzicami. As the leaders make their way through turns 3 and 4. When they come to the start finish line this time, there will be just 10 laps left in this race. And when you do the calculations, that works out to be about 9 minutes and 10 seconds worth of racing left. Maybe just over 9 minutes, 10 seconds. So these guys are starting to run some of their fastest laps here at the end of the race in this front pack. The current fastest lap set by Jonathan Hernandez, 49.337, which is just 9 thousandths of a second faster than Thomas Harmon, 49.345. Actually, sorry, 39.346. I can't read. There's numbers on a screen. But Thomas Harmon is leading the way. His last lap was a 49.991. And just look at how organized this front pack is. And as I say that, I've just looked at my mini map, and the second pack has splintered here a little bit. Let's see. Got Lizelle, DeVore, Steinhauser, Brian Harris, and this little grouping. And then behind these guys, once I find the right number to press, that one. Got Cox, Pentacuff, Bowden, and Niederhelm. So I've got 2 packs of 4 here at the back of the pack. In fact, I think all the cars, bar the second pack, have just all gone out into 4-car packs. Oh, it's getting a little bit racy here in this very back pack. And all that's going to do is allow the leaders to catch up to them all that much faster. Which means Cox and Niederhelm probably go a lap down here within the next few laps. Bowden and Pentecup will go a second lap down. And it is back just ahead of them. Oh, let's say that Brian Harris gets very loose. And he's probably going to pull away from this pack now. Just from the speed loss alone from getting that loose and going down to the apron. Let's ride on board with him and see if we can notice a change in the engine note. If I can find the right button. There it is. And let's compare this to the 65 of Steinhauser. And Steinhauser's engine is just a little bit more revved up. As Brian Harris has definitely lost a lot of pace there. See on these dash, 7,900. Bet at Steinhauser, 86. That's what 700 RPM difference sounds like. Let's go back to our leaders now as they are catching the very back pack. They're just 2.8 seconds off catching them. As they're going to have 5 laps to go at the line this time. Fred the flag marshal's got his hand out, all fingers stretched out, 5 laps to go. And this 5-car pack in front of them is definitely a little bit of all over the track. Thomas Harmon's last lap, 49.766. Jonathan Hernandez is 49.773. But these guys absolutely hauling the mail. And just to keep up the form of the 7s, Matt Burgess, 49.777. We'll have just 4 laps to go this time. Who was going to win it out of this front pack? Who's going to make a move? And will there be disaster? These are all questions with unknown answers at this time. We'll find out in just over 3 laps though. These guys make their way onto the back straight. That's a huge lead these guys have over the second pack. It's 19 seconds now back to the second pack, as the leaders have caught the draft of this backpack. So they're going to single file around the outside of them. Horton, the last of the four to go up. Just trying to get that little bit of extra draft. Bowden trying to jump onto the back of them. And them being stuck on the outside of this pack like this is definitely going to be hampering them a little bit. There's a couple of cars that jumped up trying to catch this pack. All four of them in front. And it looks like they are starting to get formated here. And this has now gone from a pack of 4 to a pack of 9. And we only have 10 cars left on the lead lap, with 2 laps to go. That front pack just took an entire lap to put that group of 5 a lap down. What was very loose there was the 5 of Mark Bentecuff. That was almost disastrous. We've almost had a green, white, checkered finish. So here we go, coming out of the final corner for the penultimate time. And these guys hit the start-finish line. It will be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. White flag's in the air. Fred, the flag marshal, waving the flag vigorously. Now let's see who is going to try and attempt to make a move here. Will any of them actually attempt to make a move? Will it end in disaster? We'll find out very shortly. As it doesn't look like they're going to catch that that new backpack. So we will have 10 finishers on the lead lap as they come out of turn 4 for the final time. There's a move being made by the 12 of Matt Burgess. The 88 Jonathan Hernandez goes to the outside. So too does the 33 of Matt Horton. As they come up to the start-finish line, who's it going to be? Oh, sideways. Contact. Thomas Harmon wins. Jonathan Hernandez sideways across the line to take home P2. Third goes to Matt Horton. Matt Burgess unfortunately finishing in 4th on that one. But there is your winner, the 38, Thomas Harmon. As he's going to make his way back around the track and take a little bit of a celebratory donut. A long way to make it around the track. He's still going 230 k's an hour just to get around there a little bit faster. Let's see if he actually has the gas to do a burnout. Because he was out the front of that pack for a long time. Didn't have too much opportunity to save. I reckon he'll have enough. Here we go. Burnout City for the 38 of Thomas Harmon. With that, we are going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, we are here for what would normally be driver interviews. We did have these pre-recorded after the end of the race. Unfortunately, something has happened, and we have no audio in the recording for the interviews. So, tonight's Hard Charger Award winner, 38 of Thomas Harmon, started in 7th, come home with the win. And it was a great race from Thomas. He just got to the front and stuck there. Once he did, he fell back a little bit after the pit stops, and by a little bit I mean fell back to second, and then immediately got back up to the front. Didn't look back, and had an amazing race. And I'm sure out of all the things that he wants to thank, Avril on the hood is definitely one of them. Though he doesn't exactly have Avril on the hood when you look at the car like this. He just has her on the sides. But hey, we know what he's like. Second place getter here tonight, of course, 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. I know Jonathan would like to ramble on about how well his race went and how he's looking forward to doing the same again next week when we go to Atlanta. So, Jonathan Hernandez, who just ran a nice, smart, sensible race, coming home in P2. P3 goes the way of the 33 of Matt Horton. And again, he just drove a nice, smart race, made sure he stayed out of trouble, and just held it up there and stayed in the front pack the whole time, especially after the pit stop cycle, which is when it is the most important. And he pulled off the second placing here tonight. So that is going to wrap things up for us here in the Output Racing League. Make sure you check us out next week when we'll be going to Atlanta in what is a reconfigured track to be more super speedway like. So until next week, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. See you guys in Atlanta, Georgia, for what should be a fairly exciting race.